All right. Hey everyone. Got a little bit of a different video coming for you today. I have not been posting about this a lot, but currently it is October 1st and I am finishing up the last week of a road trip. And so I wanted to put out a video on something that I'm thinking about, but because I'm on my road trip, I haven't had much time to prepare anything. So I'm just going to talk into my camera and my AirPods. And this is one of those videos that I don't really have a whole lot of proof yet for this, but it's something that I'm thinking about and I want to document it and I want to start a conversation with other people who might be thinking about the same thing. So when we're running outbound campaigns, uh, I am thinking more right now about why an outbound campaign doesn't work versus why some other outbound campaigns work and what we can do to fix outbound campaigns. Because something in the cold email community that you might hear is, sometimes you have an offer that isn't good for cold email. And I keep trying to question that belief as much as I can. Because how are you getting customers then? You are communicating what you do to other people and they're interested in it. And that's what cold email is. And so I would say probably the biggest blocker to cold email being effective might be if your offer is very timing dependent. And so that's a very obvious one that if they only evaluate these things once a year, it's not like they're going to just be able to respond to a cold email at any time. And so anyway, what I'm specifically thinking about currently with our current outbound campaigns is using the mechanism of your offer in the outbound campaign versus using the outcome in your outbound campaign. And I'm going to break that down. And so I know that you'll hear people say all the time, don't sell the plane ticket, sell the vacation. And so if you haven't heard that before, it is a very tried and true. I'm not even sure if it's a theory of marketing at this point. It might even be tried and true so much that it's a law of marketing that you should be selling people outcomes instead of selling them how you get it done. And so this would go to say that you should be selling people the fact that we can increase your revenue by 5%. You should be selling that versus the way that you help people do that. And I'm challenging this a little bit, and maybe as I go through this video, we can figure out where I'm challenging it from. But I'm testing two things that are working right now that I wanted to share with people, and we're going to talk through exactly how. And so when I'm talking about leaning more into the mechanism or leaning more into the outcome, what I'm basically talking about is in your cold email, getting very, very specific about your process and why they should use the process, or completely leaving your process out of the email and only talking about outcomes. And so I'm just going to give two stories that kind of go with this. So we were working with a virtual assistant staffing outreach company, and one of the things that they would do is they'd say, we go through this entire process to pick people, so you don't have to go through that process. But we can help you save money, all these things. And so one thing that I was thinking about was why don't we lean into this mechanism more? And why don't we give them the idea of how we get it done so that they can trust us in the process, right? Because every virtual assistant company is trying to say that they hire the best people, but they can't all prove it. So when we dug into the process, they turn away 80% of the people who even apply to work for them. They have them fill out 4 different tests to make sure that they do everything, to make sure that they can show up on time to 3 different calls. And then they use that person in the company for 2 weeks before they let a customer use that person. And it was like, oh my gosh, great. You have a great mechanism. You're not just hiring random people, vetting them a little bit. You have a great way to actually do this. So when we put it in the outbound campaign, the response rates started going up. And we did a lot of this by putting it below the signature. And so we would say, like, this is how we, can help businesses. We use AI to basically say, like, we think offshore talent can help you with these tasks. And I think it can help your business. Below our signature, here's our process. If you want to talk, let's talk about how we can get a person placed for you. And then below the signature, we would say, boom, 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 boom. And so then I was even coaching somebody, and I actually have to reach out to them as well too about how this went. But they had an offer, and they only had 4,000 people that they could reach out to, and they were trying to increase their response rates. And I'll give an update in the description. But this is another example, and I'm just not sure if it worked yet, but it follows the same guideline, where he only had 4,000 people to reach out to, but he had a great offer for them. And I was saying, look, you should share your case studies with them, 100%. But then below the signature, you should outline exactly how you do each and every thing in there. And so, and make it like a 6 step process to show like how detailed you are before you do this offer. And I got to reach out to him to see if it increased his response rates. But in both these instances, we're leaning very, very hard into the mechanism and how we can help people. And I think this works when people they know what the outcome is, they just don't trust you, right? And so I know like you always want to be selling the vacation, not the plane ticket, but sometimes people already know what the vacation is like and they just need to make sure that there's a good plane ticket for them to get there. So that's one thing that we're thinking about right now. And like I said, if they I think this applies very well if they know what the outcome is like and they just need to trust the person to be able to get there, right? And then the other thing that we're thinking about is completely on the opposite end of the spectrum. And it's like, well, what if you were to just completely take out any even thought of the mechanism and only talk about outcomes, right? And so we were working with a company that they do Facebook ads optimization, and they do a lot of Facebook ads optimization. And we were sending emails and we were talking about the Facebook ad optimization, and it was working okay. We were getting bites, but it was just working okay. It wasn't anything crazy. And so then we we leaned into the mechanism, and that didn't really work. They didn't really care about the process that we went through. If anything, that actually hurt our results a little bit. And I'll share that insight too. Is we would lean into the mechanism, and then when we did it at scale, not everybody agreed with the methodology. And there were some things in our mechanism that had to have been explained, and people just didn't agree. And actually, we started getting some people saying that they didn't agree with the methodology to be used. And so then what we did was we just said, okay, you know what? Let's just not even talk about the mechanism here, and let's just go crazy just talking about the outcome, and don't even tell people how it happens. And we didn't mention Facebook ads. We didn't mention anything. We just used AI and we said, we know you're going after these kinds of people. And I think your average order value is around this number. I'll talk about average order value again on another campaign. Um, we think your average order value is around this number with companies like yours. And then we would do an if then statement, depending on how big the company is and how big their average order value was. We'd put in different case studies and different sentences about the case study. And we'd put 3 case studies in. So we just say, hey, we've helped companies accomplish this. We've helped companies accomplish this. We've helped companies accomplish this. I think we could help you. Would you want to chat? Even if all we talk about is how we accomplish that success for them, right? And so again, no, like not talking about the mechanism at all. We're just talking about the outcome. And in that case, it would increase the response rates as well too. And I'm going to finish up with another story. I posted a YouTube video about this, and it was crazy. So we send sometimes insane outbound emails, in my opinion, insane outbound emails. And so one email we sent was we basically would say, let me just get the wording down actually. Okay, I just looked up. We were selling a bookkeeping slash tax advice service. And so what we were doing was we would look up who they're trying to target, what kind of business they're in, and then we would like say something different if they had products that they had to keep track of and inventory that they had to keep track of. We'd say something different if it was SaaS. We'd say something different if they were a consulting company. We would say something different, uh, in all these different ways. And then it got crazy because it was like if it was SaaS, then we were talking about the international hires and keeping track of all those people, and then all of the software spends that they have, and then we use built with to figure out what tools they're using. And it's like, are you guys keeping track of your usage over here? And then if it was like a management company, we'd pull case studies off the website and we'd say, do you know how much, how many hours are going into this company versus going into this company? And we just made it pretty insane. And so it was bookkeeping and tax service. So it was really more like a CFO type offer, I guess. And so we were very much leaning into the mechanism and how, we found data about these companies. We found hard data to say, with this data, we can help you. And this is the mechanism in which we would help you. But then honestly, when we simplified the campaign and then we just looked to see if there was any person at the company that was a finance or accounting role. And if there wasn't, we would just say, hey, I took a quick look on LinkedIn. I didn't see anybody with a finance or accounting role on your team. I know you might be using an outside contractor. How do you know that your current outside service or somebody on your team is taking advantage of every legal loophole that the IRS would allow you to take to reduce your tax liability? And so then we just did that and we simplified the campaign. Nothing about the mechanism. And all we did was just switch that and we just talked about the outcome. We're just like, how do you know that you're taking advantage of all these legal loopholes? We're going to help you. And I mean, we weren't talking directly about the outcome, but I hope you can see that inherently we were saying our outcome is that we're going to help you find all these legal loopholes. Response rates went up like crazy. And so this is what I'm thinking about now is I think a lot of times when we're all writing emails and I see it because I see people posting on LinkedIn. I see other people are doing it too. I see that we're we're all basically giving a little bit about the mechanism, giving a little bit about the offer and trying those things. What we're going to start doing with our customers is we're going to start leaning really, really hard into the mechanism and how it all works and getting really, really, really granular and saying like, I am confident in our process because these are all the things that we take care of for you. And I think we can do that. And a lot of times we put that below the signature so that we have enough space. That's just something I've been doing recently where we keep the main email nice and sweet. And it's like, there's more information below my signature. If you want to talk, let's talk, just so you can get a longer email, but you could also get away with, you could get a longer email, but you could get away with it still feeling kind of short. And the only people who read the signature are the people who are interested above. So anyway, and then the other thing that we're playing around with is not talking about the mechanism at all. Not even telling people that it's Facebook ads, not even telling people that we run a CFO service, like none of that, literally just the outcome and not saying anything about how that outcome is accomplished. There was another company we were working with that we were more having an email deliverability problem because of inboxes that they had set up. But because so I didn't want to mention this, but I guess I'll mention it just because I don't have clearly defined results here. I had like a glimmer of hope with this. We were um we were basically emailing e-commerce brands and we were saying, hey, you know, I imagine your average order value is blank if people order these products. And then we would name the product. So it was like, I imagine your average order value is around $120 if people order this product, this product, and this product. And we would name it. And then we would say, I know SimilarWeb isn't accurate all the time, but considering on SimilarWeb you get 40,000 monthly website visitors, doing that math, we help people increase revenue by 1 to 3%. So I think we can help you increase revenue from like $8,000 to $15,000, whatever that math turns into. The way we do this is we have like a pixel that can de-anonymize the people who didn't fill out their abandoned cart flow or who didn't identify themselves in the workflow. Would you want to chat? And that didn't really get a whole lot of responses. But when we took out the de-anonymization part, and then we even changed the first line because no human would ever say anything like that. Um, so then we also changed the first line to be something more like I was looking at product one, product two, product three, and my order came to be about $120. That was long enough that the preview text got taken up. So it looked like a support email, and then we just went into the rest of it. And so we had email deliverability problems. We also didn't get that many positive responses from the campaign before this customer stopped working with us. But it's just another one to just show that we did take away the mechanism on this, and we made that other first line change as well too. But it was getting more responses than anything else we were getting at the time, positive responses too. And so that's just a little bit more proof on this. So I just wanted to make this video to a little bit document it so that I can come back to this video, but also possibly start a conversation with others who could be thinking about this too, where basically we have our straight down the middle. We say one sentence about the mechanism. We say a case study about the mechanism. And I think that's the down the middle campaign. And I think we're going to be testing more campaigns where we get into the nitty gritty of this is how refined we are. And then we also talk on the complete side where we don't even talk about the mechanism at all. We just talk about how we accomplish our outcomes and we lean into our case studies even more and things like that. And so I hope this maybe starts a conversation. Somebody else is possibly thinking about this. Hopefully it helps your outbound campaigns to think about this. We're on the early days of seeing this help with our positive response rates on some of our campaigns. And so I figured we had enough proof to put it out there and start talking about it. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this style of video where I have no visuals or anything. I'm just talking at a camera. Um, this is what I am spending a lot of my time thinking about, which is why I created a video. So Just let me know if this sparks any ideas for you all.